Okay, so like I said in the first intro that I ruined with music, we are doing some unique content, something completely different on my channel, because of course, am a React Andy, and we are doing video game history a little bit. So I got two boxes here that you can see because green screen, and they are full of Super Nintendo games. Ah, this will be good. So, as one got for a couple of months ago, I I wanted to make the video then, but I was too lazy because I am me. Um, he was talking something about kids will not understand how far we have come technology-wise with games and stuff like that. And he's true. He was right. He's true. He was right. It's absolutely true. And we're gonna look at some games today and talk about, video game history and how stuff changed. We're not gonna go look at a lot because this will be a 10-hour video. So let's talk a bit about games that I have from back in the day. Mm. Oh my Jesus God. Excellent. That was, I think, the first game I ever finished. It's a side scroller shoot things with guns flying a spaceship. Was really fun. Was really fun. There's nothing more about that to be said. Now let's go with something that you possibly have never heard of. Never. Um, Stunt Race FX. Now, what does make this game unique? Um, it's a 3D game for the Super Nintendo, and it's actually 3D. You now look it up, and it's incredible. Of course, the Super Nintendo didn't have any 3D capabilities, so the 3D was rendered on the cartridge itself with a 3D chip. It's hilarious. It, Jesus Christ, stupid, stupid thingies. And you can see already in the preview there, it's hilarious how it looks. And as a kid, I played that game when I was, I don't know, 10, 12. Let's just look at it.
And namely Stunt Race FX. That's drunk. A few weeks ago, someone dug into the Nintendo Switch's NES app to find a group of file names, or more specifically, a group of Super Nintendo game titles that many are assuming will eventually be added to the Nintendo Switch's online service. There's a
Look at this. Oh, excuse me? Low quality? This was insane back in the day. This was when did it came out? Let me see a date. 1994. 1994 on the Super Nintendo. This was insane. This was the first 3D game I ever played, and I loved it. I was 12 years old, about 12 years old, and it was incredible. I played this game a lot, like a lot, so much. And like you can see, it doesn't look realistic at all. Look, Not the slightest. And it didn't have to. It didn't have to look realistic because it was impossible to make a 3D game look realistic back then. I mean, you had 2D games kind of looking kind of realistic, but not really. Because how to make a game look realistic back then was basically only over the color palette. It was all about the color palette. And this game doesn't have a great color palette, like you can see. There's almost nothing there. We maybe see this game might have 256 colors, and that's maximum. On a PC, later it was 16,000. That was you had two colors back in the day. Then you had 16 colors. Then you got up to I think directly to 256, and from there you make the jump to 16,000 colors. I think that's how that was, and then the next one was 32 million colors, and that's where we still are. There are graphics cards, a graphic chip that can render. I think it was 5 billion colors, but that's professional hardware. Like normal user hardware, 32 million colors. That's all we got in gaming and normal people things. And even in the professional sectors, the 5 billion colors are basically never used because there's no reason to. 32 million are completely fine. If you look at your phone, 30 billion colors. If you look at your TV, 30 million colors. Your monitor, 30 million colors. Everything is 30 million colors. And you can go completely photorealistic at 30 million colors, 32 million colors. Now it could be more realistic with 5 billion colors. But the resources that you have spent on that is far greater. So it's not being done. So that was a side tangent. um, but that's the thing. Kids these days, they don't know that these steps ever existed in the first place. So when they look at the game today, like this one, they don't see the history that's behind it. Thank you, by the way. And they just look at this and think, yeah, that looks like shit. Because, to be honest, this kind of looks like shit, but it only looks like shit because of the resolution. The resolution is here the problem. If this would be a modern, if you put this game into full HD resolution, it would be completely fine. Kids would play it, adults would play it, everyone would play it because it has style to it. Now, if they would have tried to make this game look as realistic as possible, it wouldn't have worked out at all. How does one make the perfect bagel? I don't know. I guess you have to be French. So yeah, kids don't know these things, and this is just one example. And this is for 3D games. I have other games. Of course, I do. What do we go with? What do we go with? How about not that? What do we go with? All right. Sim City. Oh, the first time I saw this game, I saw it at a friend's place, and I was like immediately drawn to it because it took the manly thing, the man thing, where you have to organize things and build civilization. And of course, it's not about building civilization; it's about building a city. And in that game, you can, but it's not great compared to what we have today, like City Skylines 1. 2 doesn't seem to be that great. And kids these days, like, interesting side tangent. Games like this, if you let kids play games like these, you teach them a lot of lessons. Number one, how to handle money. Number two, that money isn't infinite. Number two, strategy. Uh, Number four, patience. Number five, I would guess planning for the future. Because you need to do that all in games like these. So I would say that make your kids play games like these, where they have to think and strategize. They, of course, will be frustrated. Of course, they will be, because those games require you to think, and that's something that kids aren't good at because they are completely emotional. And of course, this game started in and complete genre of management games that blew up in the 90s, and that are still going very well. If you make a good game like this, people will play it. What else do we have? All right. This game. It looks like a children's game. It is a children's game, and I never finished it. I think I have made it to the third level as a kid. Haven't played it since. And I can tell you, I bought that game with my own money. I have 100 Deutsche Mark. So today's worth almost 300 euros. And I never finished the game. I was frustrated by this game. And I had to play this game because I didn't have a lot of other options. And I paid for the game, so I had to play it, right? And kids these days, they don't have that anymore because they get everything they want, which, by the way, is very, very unhealthy. So that's the Super Nintendo part here. Um, of course, I have played other things like, Pong. Do, do you think kids these days would play Pong? No. I played Pong in the 80s on an Atari console. And I played it seriously with my brother, with my mother's boyfriend. And of course, the game wasn't good. I mean, look at how simple it is. And it was the 80s. We had better games. Also, another great example. No, no, no. Was it called like that? Yet here it is. We had this game too. We had this game too. And of course, I sucked at it because the game is actually hard. And I didn't know what I was doing. But would anyone these days play something like this that looks like this? That looks like this? Maybe. But plays like this? No. Because it doesn't play well. It's it's not a great game. And coming back to the actual motive of this video is kids that don't know that these games existed, that didn't play these games, that only know modern games, they will never understand where we old people coming from. Like, compare this, come on, load faster, to this. Oh, come on, stop being stupid. Look at this. The difference. This is a 16 color palette. This is 32 million color palette. I guess 4K. Kids these days don't know that to have this, we have to start here. They don't know that. Someone like me, I'm 42 years old now. I have seen it all. I've seen this. I have seen this. So, funny story. Far Cry 1. Remember Far Cry 1? Let's see Far Cry 1. Far Cry 1. Where is it? It's about here? No. The first level. It was in the very first level. Not here. Soon, soon, soon. Where was it? There was a very special part for me. A very special part. No, it was before this. Before the cutscene. Before the cutscene. A very special part. This part here. This part here. I played the demo of Far Cry 1. I played the demo a lot. And whenever I came to this part, that was back in the day in the year 2000, I think 3 or 4. I think the demo wasn't free. And this part was so amazing. Why? You had real-time shadows, you had real-time lighting, and you had physics of the lamp that is swinging left and right, showing off the physics of the shadows and the lighting. And you could jump at the light, and you could shoot the light, it moves, and it changes everything. I did that combined for maybe half an hour. That's how amazing that this looked to me back in the day. And that is something that kids these days will never have. They will never have these moments of a new technology that's, how to say it, a new technology in a game that for today's standards is completely normal and no one is thinking about. But back in the day, it blew your mind. And that's one of these things. The actual physics actual real life rendered lighting and the shadows. That came back out back in the day, like over 20 years ago, and it was so amazing. Every gamer that saw these things were like, oh my god, this is so amazing. How is this possible? And then the best part, it runs fine. Well, it runs fine for most cases. If you have a dog shit computer, of course it doesn't. But the same is true today. And the thing is, the technology didn't really change at all from back then. The last big jump for technology in games was RTX. And most people don't use RTX. Now, everyone uses um, real time lighting and shadows these days, and physics too. That's the norm. Back then, it was so incredible that it was even possible. Was insane. That you if you are 10 years old now and you watch this video, which to be fair, no one that age will watch this, but if you and you're sitting there and thinking, how is this so great? This looks like shit. That's the thing. Back in the day, it didn't look like shit. This was amazing. Far Cry 1 was one of the greatest looking games that came back then. And to be fair, when it comes to the jungle environments, they are still good. The jungle environments are still good. So is the shadows, the lighting, the physics, because that stuff hasn't changed in all this time. It's still the same. You do have, uh, you know, light reflections from second sources, like the light when it comes from the main light source, that now it Jesus, my voice reflects off surfaces and produces additional shadows coming from there, interacting with other objects. But that's also still based on the original technology from over 20 years ago. And that's insane. People these days, if you, old people like me who remember these things, we can look at modern games and go, oh my god, this is so awesome. Look how far we have come. While young people look at modern games and yeah, looks nice. They don't know what it took, how long it took to get to this point. Like from Far Cry 1 to The Witcher 3, that's a huge leap. But the lab is mostly in textures and in detail, not in actual grand technology. Grand technology that's new that came into gaming. Not even RTX isn't that, because it's just in addition to the lighting, to the real-time lighting and shadows and reflections. Yeah, reflections came also back in the day. And also water. Water has been mastered in the 2000s. In the 2000s, water was mastered. Like 3D water. And it hasn't improved since then. It didn't. If you look at water in a modern game, a triple A game, it looks the same as in the end of the 2000s. It's the same. It hasn't changed. Now, what changed is if you go underwater and reflections and stuff like that. That has you know that has changed somewhat. But overall, the physics of the water, how it moves, and all of that, is still the same. it works still the same. Oh, Jesus. And that's also a big thing. Some things have been mastered long ago and are still run the same way. The same way. Uh, Comparison. Let's do a little comparison. Where's a good scene? Let's see. Yeah, we can. Do we have? Yeah, this is good. Or not? Half-Life 1, Half-Life 2. In core, Half-Life 1 and 2 have the same engine, but only in the core. Like both are modified Quake 1 engines. Quake 1 from 1990, I think 7. This is ha quite hardly modified Quake 1 engine. This is also a hardly modified Quake 1 engine, but so modified that it is its own thing. The engine is its own thing. It's a Source engine, Source 1 engine, by the way, Source 1. And they changed so much on the Quake 1 engine that it had become its own thing. In Half-Life 1, it wasn't. That's why they had to pay a license to use the Quake 1 engine here, but not here. Because this is so modified that it's its own thing. And just look at the difference in the character models. Let's go full screen for that. Look how blocky they are. And look how blocky everything is. That's because actual game geometry is hard to render. Because you need a lot of polygons, aka triangles, to make something round. That's why these supposedly round tubes aren't round. That's why the light is so blocky. That's why everything is so blocky. Now, Half-Life 2, this character here has more polygons than the entire scene that I just showed you from Half-Life 1. And it runs smoothly. It runs actually very well. Even back then, the game ran very, very well. Unless you had a really, really bad computer, especially the graphics card wise. It was really, really bad. And also the lighting. Remember what I said about in Far Cry 1 about the lighting? This is the same here. Now, to someone that, you know, is a kid now and is used to, The Witcher 3 and stuff like that, if you look at that, that's enough. That you don't even see that. But an old guy like me, I see that and I go, this is impressive. Why? Because I remember this shit. I remember that. I played that. I have a lot of hours in that game. So I, as an old folks, I see it. I see the development in the games with each iteration of a, like if you have, well, let's go with Half-Life. Half-Life 1 to Half-Life 2. The changes are so dramatic that it's insane. And the thing is, Half-Life 2 was praised mostly for its physics. Not even the graphics, the physics. The physics, they have used the Havoc engine. They licensed that and put it in the game. And the company that made the Havoc engine, physics engine, they I think went bankrupt or were bought off by Valve. It's, one of those things. And there hasn't been an update to Havoc in almost 20 years, and that thing is still used. That's how good it is. But that also shows you that the basics for modern physics in games was set back then in the mid 2000s when the games came out. So it actually was set earlier while developing the physics for it. And that's still what runs, what modern games runs on. And that's something that kids will never know how awesome it was to go somewhere and you could move things and they moved like they should in reality. It was incredible back in the day. These things were mind-boggling, awesome things, and kids will never get that because they don't know. And I think it's important that the kids know. So I personally think that it's a good idea to have kids play old games so they know, what was back then, what is now. The same goes with basically every technology. Like I would rather have my kids play games on a PC than on a phone or a tablet, simply because there's a other connection to technology they develop. Like I am quite computer uh, how do I call it? I know how to work with computers because I grew up with it. I had to. I had to fix my own problems without the internet in the late 90s, where you were cutting yourself on a computer case all the time. That's horrendous. And I remember buying my first 3D graphics card, which was a Voodoo 3DF, a 3DFX Voodoo 1 with 4 megabyte video RAM, which was an add-on card that I had to connect with my actual graphics card. And then I had the cable to the monitor has to go into the 3DFX card, and the cable from the original graphics card had to go into the 3DFX card. That's how that worked back in the day. Excuse me. And figuring out things like that is quite hard. And that's why you hear all the time from media and studies that kids these days don't know how technology works, which isn't surprising. They don't have to interact with actual technology. They don't have to uh, troubleshoot things. I had to, and it was horrible. I hated it, but it made me at the end, you know, understand technology better. Which is also why I hate Windows 10, Windows 8, Windows 11. I hate these things because they are so badly designed. I I'm using Windows 10 for almost 10 years, and I don't find my way around in the system at all. in in all other OSs from Microsoft, including Windows 7, I would find myself around without problems because I have been using that system since Windows 95. Since the for over 20 years I used them, or about 20 years. And that's why also they never changed it that then back then. Windows 10, they changed the outlay of the system at least twice, but very at least once, and that threw me off completely. I have no idea where I find things in Windows 10. But that's side tangent. Back to games. Back to games. Another thing. We were with Lightning. We were Texas. Yeah. Like I said, this one character has more polygons than this entire scene. Most likely, his head has more polygons. And these days, if you look at the character, a piece of clothing has more polygons than entire 3D games from back in the day. Like if you have a character with 10 million polygons, that's more polygons than games had back in the day in the entire game combined. That's how crazy things have become. And that's how good technology is these days. On technology back then, you wouldn't have been able to render anything like that at all. It's impossible. And that's also you can see on the things. My first computer had 32, 32? Yeah, 32 megabytes of RAM. My current computer has 16 gigabytes of RAM. I could upgrade to 32 gigabytes. So what are we talking here? It's from megabytes to gigabytes is 1,000. Like 1 gigabyte is 1,024 megabytes. That's the difference. So I have over 500 times, not 500 times. Yes, 500 times. 500 and a couple. No, is it 1,000 times? A lot of times more RAM than back in the day. And graphics card, like I said before, my 3DFX card had 4 megabytes of video RAM. My current graphics card has 8 gigabytes of video RAM. It, the numbers are insane if you compare them to back in the day and how much things cost and how much you were able to do with it. But that's also a thing. Back in the day, games were tiny. Like the amount of data they used up on your hard drive, because you had only so much data. Like my first hard drive, my first computer had 2 gigabytes. 2 gigabytes. Modern games take more up than that, and that had several games by OS and other programs on it. And today that's not even enough for a movie. A 4K movie is more than 2 gigabytes. Even only a full HD movie is more than that. So that was Half-Life. Let's compare. Let's look at funny thing. Funny thing. Let's look at the Doom 3 trailer from the E3 from back in the day. I can. I, this will be good. god, Activision. When they were not shit. Back in the day, this already looked good, by the way. People were already, oh my god, yeah, this looks kind of good.
The Union Aerospace Corporation, an arm of the most powerful...
Back in the day, I remember I have seen a video of live reactions. When that came up, people were going, oh, the entire audience, like, I don't know, a couple hundred people were like, oh my god, that's how impressive this was. Just this thing already was so impressive that the audience went crazy on E3.
conglomerate on Earth has been performing secret experiments in their base on Mars, tapping into the very fabric of the universe itself and beyond. UAC scientists have made discoveries that will forever change human existence. Then something went terribly wrong.
For the ones who don't know what's so impressive here, why are they even showing off this, you know? You might think that, oh yeah, because, you know, things are happening and it's atmospheric. No, this is showing off tech. The things that are falling off, that's physics. And they're showing off the light thing and the real-time shadows. The sparks there, that are also something new. Well, new. They just looked way better than they did before, like in Half-Life 1. But these are all tech things that made people go, oh my god, back in the day. Today, no one is looking like to that at all. Also, that guy's changing into a zombie. That was also something that before didn't happen. This is also this was back then very impressive graphically. Very impressive. Very, very, very impressive. But also Doom 3 was more of a tech demo. Like the entire game was more a tech demo than a game. And that would have become a big problem with id Software, that their games were more tech demos than actual games. Everything they are showing off, they don't really show off for game purposes. It's all tech. Remember that, it's all tech. Like that. Did you see that? The deforming of the gates. That also was completely new tech. That didn't exist before. Also that physics. Now for today, the graphics look really bad. Like these are very obvious for today's standards, low-res textures. But that's for today's standards. Back in the day, this looked incredible. This looked amazing. But the game was also designed to be very dark. Can you guess? And that's why the game looks best when there is not that much light. There's flickering light and things like that. That's when the game looks best. That's also a complaint people had, that it wasn't really a Doom game. Because this is more a horror game. Which it was. By the way, the flickering of the light, that's also only there to show off the tech. And again, back in the day, this looked amazing. People were amazed by these things. And today, this looks like shit. Yeah, back in the day, people were going crazy after whilst watching this and after watching it. This was so amazing, so incredible. And like I said, I, audience reaction, Doom free trailer, E3. Come on. I think we have it here.
The Union Aerospace Corporation, an arm of the most powerful conglomerate on Earth, has been performing secret experiments
Or not.
at their base on Mars. UAC scientists have
I guess not. I guess not. I guess I was wrong. But just let's just move on. You know, I can't be right all the time. Let's watch the Half-Life 2 trailer from the E3. From back in the day. I think that's it. Was it an announcement trailer? No. Let's go with this one.
Welcome to City 17.
Yeah, this looked so impressive back in the day. Like I said, young people will never get it because they weren't there.
Gordon Freeman.
Look at the character models. They, by the way, look way better than Doom 3. Like, it's not even close. And also, the mouth movement for the lip sync, that's that's not extra animated. They have developed their own tech to have the mouse move with the words set in real time. That's incredible tech, and I think no one else used it, which is a shame because the tech is great. I think more games should do that. I think that's still today great, and it still looks great today.
Let me get a look at you, man.
Oh, it's got you a cop.
This looks so impressive. But I think that's the second trailer.
Let me get a look at you, man.
Oh, it's got you a cop.
Now, to be fair, the textures they are from the building on the other side, they look awful. This is so impressive. By the way, also in game, this scene is very. This is, by the way, very early in the game. This scene here, and it's very impressive. You immediately get the feeling of, oh shit, I have to watch out for my safety. It's great. Also, the animations of the characters are very fluent, like really, really fluent. They look really great. Also, the gravity gun was one of the main things that was very impressive of the game, because you could manipulate physical things in the game and use them. You can move them around, you can throw them, use them as weapons, things like that. It was amazing. It was so amazing that Doom 3, the add-on for Doom 3, copied it. Literally copied it. See, like that.
Get on, Freeman.
You have chosen or been chosen?
Okay, let's watch this, because this is, from a text standpoint, very, very interesting. This is showing off the tech of the lip sync, facial animations. This is from Half-Life 1, Half-Life 2.
We've been rather busy in your absence, Mr. Freeman.
Number one, the difference in the character models, insane. Now, for today, the textures don't look that great, but that's actually only a texture thing. If you would replace the texture, it would just look fine. Give it maybe some more details here and there, but that's it. Do you see the eye movement? Look at the eye movement. The eyes keep fixated on the camera by moving the character around. That's impressive. And that was completely new technology. And these are things that, again, young people don't get. They haven't been there. And that's why they don't understand. And that's why they don't have, how to say it? This much of excitement about things that, now are, look nice, but back in the day were sensational.
Pay attention, Mr. Freeman. I'm only going to say this once.
那么，看来我们是没有合作的机会了。
See? That's what I mean. That's what I was talking about earlier. And it even works in different languages. That's what makes this tech impressive. And I don't think it's used today. At least not that I know of. Like, if you have a in-game cutscene and you have different languages, The mouth movement doesn't match depending on what language it is. At least that's what I get. To be fair, I haven't played a lot of games with dialogue in the past years. And I'm only playing them in English anymore. Look at the facial animations. They are amazing. And look what we get today. Nothing. Nothing. Because this requires care and love, which modern games completely lack. He can even look sad. And this is a grade of technology that was amazing back in the day. And growing up with seeing more and more incredible technology, it was amazing. And that's why I can say, when a game comes out these days and everyone is, oh my god, this looks so amazing, this looks so good, and I'm like sitting there, this looks like a game from 10 years ago or 15 years. Like how was it called? There it is. Where can we? Yeah, that's what I wanted to. Actually, what I wanted to see. Let's look at the facial animations.
A nice guy.
Thank you, Lord Nobunaga. You will not. But your servant, Diogo, stays. He may yet prove useful to me.
Damn.
Very well. Though he is good for little more than bearing your sandals.
Wow, racist?
Under me, sandal bearers become lords. I see potential in this man.
My problem here is not the facial animations, but the eyes. The eyes are completely lifeless. While for G-Man had life in his eyes. You get what I mean?
A warrior whose spirit can inspire armies. He will be tested. He may become a legend. Or he may die.
Oh shit.
His memory is fractured.
Yeah, now we're getting at stupid shit. No one cares about. There were parts. Where was the bamboo part? This kind of. Does this look that much better than Half-Life 2? Not really. This game doesn't really compare good to games that are 10 years older, like The Witcher 3. The Witcher 3 looks better.
These knees don't bend like they used to. The jewels of my...
No, you would say this looks awesome, right? This looks awesome. It doesn't. This looks like a 10-year-old game.
Her face and her neck remind me of the elites in Halo.
Wish them well.
And while he's talking about her neck, the face and the neck, old lady neck. And here, where it goes to the chest, there isn't old lady neck. So they only modeled this to be old, but underneath there, it's not. They left the old part out here. Details, ladies and gentlemen, details. And to be fair, the facial animations here are good.
Watch,
But they
we're
are
gonna turn
early in the
sideways.
game, so these things were probably made earlier with more time and care.
Something wanders my yard. Beast or spirit, I am sure.
Spirits, Auntie?
They are everywhere,
Prophets,
you know,
yeah.
like gnats.
Yeah, and here you see that, you know, the facial expressions and especially the mouth movements are actually worse than in Half-Life 2 with the G-Men. They look slower and not like, you know, people would actually talk. Like my mouth movements are fast because I'm talking. When I talk, you know, mouth has to move. And here it barely does.
Whatever it is, you will find it. I can always count on my Naoe. Observation is the first step to victory. You need higher ground to find what haunts me. Climb the old tower. Tell me what you see.
For a bowl of your misoshiru?
Work first, then rewards.
By the way, funny thing, would Japanese actually talk like that? Everything I know about Japanese culture and all Japanese movies I have seen, and I'm not talking about anime, nah.
And lucky you, it will be my best one yet.
I won't let you down.
This is this typical, you know, Western people writing.
Yeah. Find this bitch. All right, let's go.
And here we go. And yeah, the textures here on the rocks and all that. We have seen textures like that, quality 10 years ago, 15 years ago. So saying that this game is impressive or looks so awesome, it looks passable. And that's only some parts. That's the problem. I've seen things about this game that look so ugly that it's mind-boggling that it even exists. And that's the thing. Asmongold said that he thinks the game looks great and is great and plays great, but he's a World of Warcraft player. He hasn't played all the great games that came out while he was playing World of Warcraft, and there were a lot of games that came out during that, like the Witcher series. I think the entire Witcher series, or almost, and that's a lot. And also, he didn't play Crysis. Yeah, let's look at Crysis. Yeah, let's look at Crysis. And this is a video, right? I'm not playing it. This looks amazing. This looks amazing. And that's what the game was built for. Looking at amazing, having physics, lightning, all the buzzwords. And the game today still looks amazing. And it looks better than Assassin's Creed Shadows. By far it looks better, way better. And this even runs really well. But you know, we also have, when was this video made? 6 years ago. And the game is old. It came out 2010, I think. Or when did it come out? Of course, there's no But yeah, the game looks still amazing. Look at the shadows. I mean, you are watching a video of me watching a video, but it still looks great. And if you're playing the game, it looks even better. Way better. The textures of the rocks look better than in Assassin's Creed. The fauna looks great. No, it's a flora. The fauna are the animals. I don't remember seeing animals in the game. Also, the AI in the game is great. It's also great, but that's basically an entire Far Cry and Crysis series. The AI is good. The enemy AI. And back in the day, this game looked so amazing, so incredible, and it ran like crap on basically every machine. That was also a thing. And if you didn't grow up, you know, having seen Crysis coming out, you don't understand that how much of an impact it had. I mean, for years it was when new hardware came out, it was like, but can it run Crysis? Because Crysis was that hungry for hardware, and the game looks so realistic. It looks so good that even compared to modern games, it still looks good. And that was ages ago, over a decade ago. And comparing this to, you know, the current Assassin's Creed, yeah, this looks better. On every standpoint that there is. And I think we can conclude the video here. The thing is, if you are a kid today, you haven't gone through the amazement of this new technology in games that if you haven't seen it, you don't understand what it means to have the games of today, how amazing the technology actually is, because you were there before it existed, and then it existed and it got even better with each iteration. And now we are at the point where good studios use all this technology to make great things, and studios that aren't that good make trash. That even on a technical standpoint can't hold up with older games. And especially not gameplay-wise. Gameplay-wise, I think older games were a lot better in a lot of cases, because they were, well, most of the games were single-player games, so you would make them to just be fun, or otherwise people wouldn't want to play it. While modern games are, you know, all these live service games where you have to have engagement of the players, so they buy your microtransactions and stuff like that, and that is holding back games in my eyes. And that's why I think people that haven't seen these games, these old games that were milestones and parts creating completely new genres, they don't understand how amazing games are today on a technical standpoint, but they also don't understand where they're coming from and why old guys like me are so, oh my god, this is amazing. Because we were there when it wasn't amazing. We were there when things came up to be amazing. And yeah, that's it for this video. The reason why kids don't understand and people like Asmongold don't understand, because they weren't there. They didn't play the games. They didn't see the development of the technology. That's it. It's as simple.